Oh my gosh, we're live and with audio that you can actually hear now. I at least hope that you can hear it. I hope it's not being like blasted into like freaking way too loudness. I'm gonna turn on one of those filters there just so that I don't end up peaking my microphone, but I probably will end up doing that anyway. Anyways, we are here with the what are we doing today? We're doing a director's commentary. That's the one. As you can probably tell, I am doing this 1 billion% off the cuff. Let's put that one on. It seems a little more. I'm just fiddling with my audio settings right now because I've noticed with the past two of these streams, these director's commentaries, my audio has been a little bit quiet. So this time I'm going for something a little bit louder. Hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, all that jazz. Hopefully my audio isn't like peaked to hell because I don't want it to be. I'm relying on you guys to let me know if you hear any distortion. I'm going to turn down the thing on my audio processing box just to hopefully make it so that I'm not like sounding like this the entire time, or else that would be pretty bad. Yeah, so we're going to talk about the Redesigning Thomas Youtuber Thumbnails and just how to make thumbnails in general. First, I want to just like let everyone show up and you know, I want to ask, how's everyone's day going so far? I'm doing pretty good. I've been having a real slow day, to be honest with you. Like I don't know how to put it. Like every time I put out a new video, I kind of like take a little bit to just like flop back in my chair and just not do anything. I've been trying to get away from that because it's not healthy to like just work and work and work and work and work. Like you should have breaks, but I find that my breaks tend to be a little bit indulgent, if you know what I mean. Maybe a little overindulgent even, where I'll just like not do anything for like 3 days, which is also not good. I think that when you're doing creative stuff, whether it's your job or as a hobby, you should still be, you know, trying to make stuff whenever you can. I do try to keep myself as busy as I can. Sometimes you just want to like sit down and play Super Mario Sunshine or something, which is what I've been doing. I've gotten back into playing Super Mario Sunshine, and gosh dang it, that game loves to kick me in the balls. I don't know if I'd ever do a stream of it on this channel, but if I ever did a stream of it, gosh dang, it would be a pain in the ass. Anyway, I'm seeing a lot of familiar names here. Luke's in here. Sam is asking me, have you heard of a YouTuber called Andy Snuts? Andy Snuts. Gosh, fucking Sam. We're like 35 seconds into the stream. Come on. You can't hit me with that. Gosh dang it. Oh my gosh. I'm already like, dang it. I thought you were talking about, like, for some reason I don't know if this is if that name for that guy is similar to the one Sam put up. I thought you were talking about the guy who made the Henry Sneeze thing, which I've heard a little bit about. I'm not going to say anything about it. I've just heard about it. So if that's what you mean, no. But no, you were hitting me with a D's nuts joke, which, gosh dang it. Not even 4 minutes into things here. Good job, Sam. I guess we'll just get started. I'll take the massive fucking L on that one. We're not watching the Steamy Awards today. Let me change that. I think I can't paste that in. That's the stream key. There we go. Grab that, dump it in. Oh, that's a long title. That's a very long title. If I do that, will that make it shorter? That's good enough. I'd say that's all right. Yeah. So good to see everyone's doing all right. Have you ever heard of AI Sponge? You better not be hitting me with another frickin' D's nuts got 'em joke. Trainman04, a small. How do you pronounce that? Trainman04, a small fry. No, I have not heard of AI Sponge. Oh wait, is that SpongeBob in 3D thing that I keep seeing about? Yes, I have. I have seen. I haven't watched a whole lot of that, but I have heard of it. Yes. Thoughts on Toby having two faces in the RWS? We'll get to the commentary in a second. I want to go off on a tangent real quick. I freaking hate that. I hate that so much that they were like, oh, well, certain engines have two faces on them, like Boko and Toby, and I guess also the Brake Fan from Brake Van. I hate that so much. And the reason I hate that is because it is such a stupid excuse for what is very clearly like the artist making a, oh, my audio is repeating. Is it repeating? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wait a minute, let me get my headphones on. I can't actually hear the audio. Please don't tell me my audio is repeating on me. It's good now? I hope so. This is why you should always test things before you do it. You know, I talk a lot about audio. No, it sounds good. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna unplug that. I'll leave that as it is. If it starts doing that again, let me know, because I don't like that. The Toby Two Faces thing, the Engine Two Faces thing, I really hate that because, like, oh, because they're two-faced, huh? Oh, now it's gonna be repeating. There are too many things are going on all at once. So, I don't like the Toby Two Faces thing because it is an excuse made specifically to make up for an illustration error where the artist like drew Toby the wrong way around. And I don't like that. I think that that is a very silly thing to do. It can work. You know, it worked for Henry with the wrong shape thing, even though that was kind of a different thing altogether. But, and it is, you know what, I'll give him credit. It's not, like, it's something that you don't see in, like, the later Railway Series books. It's in the earlier Railway Series books, too, with Boko, where he just, for some reason, has, like, two differently designed faces. No, that I don't like that at all. I don't think that engines having two faces for any reason is cool. That fucks me up. I don't like it on the Caldy Fell engines. I don't like it there either. Also, in the Railway Series canons, I think the illustration mistakes aren't diegetic. I believe that means that, like, we can see it, but it's not, like, in that world. I think that's what diegetic means. I know that because I watched an episode of... it was something involving Superman from the YouTube channel Watchtower Database, which I really recommend. They make some very good videos. If you like superheroes, if you like learning about... what's the word? If you like learning about like the ins and outs of animation stuff, and especially if you like channels that have lore in the videos themselves that like tell a story, you'd like Watchtower Database, or I recommend giving it a shot. Anyway, we're gonna move on past that before I get totally distracted with stuff. And let's watch this video. So the basis, I guess, for the Thomas Youtuber Thumbnails video. After I made, I wanted to make, well, okay, let me back up a little bit. I make a lot of review type videos, and I like making review type videos, but lots of people make those same kinds of review videos, and I wanted to do something a little bit different. So one thing that I really like about the video making process is getting to talk about the video making process. And I've wanted to try to get more into making more of these kinds of videos where, like, I talk about, like, oh, here's, like, the behind the scenes and stuff. I kind of do it in the reviews where I talk about the audio, or I'll talk about the presentation, or I'll talk about camera angles, but I don't really get into the nitty gritty, mostly because of pacing and stuff. And a little bit just because no one cares at the end of the day. I'm the only person who cares about that one time that a character went in the audio or something. So it's really just something that I try to avoid getting too into the weeds on, because I feel like talking about it a lot can give people the impression that, oh, this video is bad because of that, even though it's stuff that most people wouldn't notice. It's stuff that I notice, and I do bring it up, but it's not like, unless I'm like in the case of the Steamy Awards video, where it's like the fine details are really important. And even then, like, I'm more likely to look past that kind of stuff, generally. Like, a video isn't bad just because someone goes during the thing. That was a kiss. I did not mean to do that. I meant to go do like a something like that. There we go. That's way better. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. So that was my idea for wanting to do that. There were so many jokes that I got to put into it, but a lot that I didn't get to put into this video. And I really wanted to I want to like break those down as much as I can, because some of them I'm really proud of and some of them I'm kind of glad that I didn't get to do, just because, you know, I don't think they would have made waves, but you know, you don't want to take that chance. The first one I wanted to do, I don't know exactly where it is, but there are a few moments during this video where I say, oh, I had a breakthrough. And there's a meme in the Thomas fandom. This is such a Thomas fandom thing where, like, it's like the Gordon crashing through the wall. I'm not exactly sure how that is a meme, but it is. And I mean, like, it can be funny sometimes, just like busting through a wall. It's just like such a stark thing. And I think like someone who doesn't watch Thomas would find that objectively kind of funny. But anyway, I tried so hard to make a frame-by-frame green screen of Gordon crashing through the video. You have no idea. I went through every single frame of that station crash, and I cut it out in Photoshop, and I tried to make Gordon burst through the video. At first, I tried to find just if someone had made a green screen of that, and I couldn't. Then I tried to see if there was like a software that I could use, because I know that like people who do that, they use After Effects, which I don't have access to. And so, gosh dang, I tried so hard to make that work. It didn't. I still have the files for it. Maybe one day I'll try to clean it up and make something with that, but I wouldn't count on it. Someone's saying, what do you use for your thumbnails? I use Photoshop. Photoshop from the Adobe Creative Cloud. If you want my advice when going for Creative Cloud stuff, if you like making videos, but you're not like super into it, I would recommend just getting the programs that you need. If you like making videos and you want to get into media, get the Creative Cloud suite, because it is more bang for your buck. You get way more stuff. Adobe overall, I find, is just very good because everything crosses over with one another. I can import a project from Adobe into Photoshop. It's actually how I made, if you don't mind me rewinding here, if I go back a little bit, not this bit, it's this one. It's actually how I made all of that stuff spread out like that, is by bringing it from Photoshop into the project and then keyframing it. Scrappier 2's most Thomas memes ain't that funny. I think comedy is pretty subjective. There we go. If only I knew how to speak. Speaking is also subjective, I guess. Yeah. So that one joke I really wanted to do. There was another one because, you know, I mentioned Unlucky Tug a lot in this video, just because he's the obvious go-to example. There are other examples that I did use, but he was just like the one that I want to, like, I like, just, it had everything that I needed to make it work. Like, to give my examples is what I mean. So I tried to I used his examples when I could, but I try not to like overuse them, but I still noticed that like I was bringing him up a lot. And so, and you know, I was like just at my job one day, and I'm just standing there working on something, and I'm thinking to myself, how could I make that fun? Like, how can I make that into a joke? And I thought, and I never wrote it down, so excuse me if this is like a little bit loose, but I wrote down, so it was a joke where it was like, it just cuts to black and white. It's like, whoa, he's really using Unlucky Tug stuff a lot. And then me in my regular voice, I'm like, hey, I'm just trying to get the most out of this Patreon pledge that I did. Because I was going to pledge to his Patreon just to like balance things out a little bit. Since in his Toby video, he said, oh, well, you know, if you pay like $10 for this, then you can use all the thumbnails that I make. You get the files for them, and you can do whatever you want with them. And then I thought, oh, well, that's where the joke will end. And then my brain went into like galaxy mode, and I thought of something which was even, which was even funnier, which was oh, well, he said that I could do everything I want with it, and like the camera, it would be like real camera footage of me zooming out on like a roll of toilet paper that has his look, like his thumbnail for season 5 of Thomas and Friends printed on it. And I would just be like, well, you know, as a backer, I gotta say, I've never been more satisfied. And it was the funniest thing to me, because like it meant that I would actually have to get like a physical like object for the video. And for some, it was just the funniest shit. I didn't do it, obviously, as you can see in the video, because I didn't want people to be like, oh, he's saying that he wipes his ass with the Unlucky Tug's opinion or something like that. Even though that's not what I'm trying to do at all. It's just like, you say, oh, you can use it for whatever you want. And it's like, well, I mean, they did say use it for whatever you want. But that was the first reason. The second reason was because it was heckin' expensive to do. Because, you know, I want to pledge to the Patreon, which would have been $10-ish. And then getting the toilet paper made, I'd have to get it made internationally and then sent it to me, which I think would have been $70 in total, which is just too much for one of these videos. Like, typically one of these videos brings in about $70 to $100-ish from ads and stuff. I don't make a terrible amount of money off of this. So, you know, it just wasn't very feasible. And it wouldn't be as funny if I had just like an image put on the thing. And it was also like a shout out to his Patreon as well. So that was another reason why I wanted to do it. The third reason was because, I don't know why, and I've had this problem in the past, Patreon will not let me give them my money. I don't understand why. I tried so gosh dang hard to give some of my money to Patreon, and I couldn't do it. It wasn't happening no matter what. For some reason, it just wouldn't let me. It said my card was declined. And I don't have like a credit card. I use like a prepaid card, which is like you put like $50 on it and then you can do whatever with it. That's typically like how I like to go about my transactions, just so that my banking information doesn't get like stripped and then someone is spending all my money, because, you know, I work hard for my money. And it just wouldn't work. So I decided instead I would do a $20 super thanks on his channel. And I tried to get in contact with him, because before I canceled the project, or not the project, the joke, I said, oh, maybe I can like get him to email him, because I thought like, oh, a super thanks is like a private message, or it's something that only he can see. No, it's not. It's a comment, which I didn't know. I probably should have known, but I didn't know. And I put my email in it. It wasn't my main email, so, you know, it probably wouldn't have been the end of the world, but it is the email that I use for business and stuff. But putting that in the comments just seems like a really bad idea. Like, it was like I was inviting for trouble, and I realized that like immediately, and so I took the comment down as soon as I could. So you can't see the comment, unfortunately, but I did send him the $20 as a super thanks. I do have the receipt for it, just in case anyone wasn't sure. I don't really want to screenshot it and dig it out. If someone doesn't believe me, then maybe I will, but I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna pause real quick here, because we're getting to the really interesting stuff in the video, and I can see some questions here that I want to answer. What do you think is the funniest moment in the entire Thomas and Friends series? From Henry and Oliver Fan 311. The funniest moment in the entire Thomas and Friends series. That's a good one, because I actually haven't watched the original 7 seasons, like the classic seasons, in like a binge or something, or just in general for a while. So my memory might be a little hazy. Luke is probably gonna have something to say about this, because I know he doesn't like season 6's take on Percy. I personally think that Percy and the Haunted Mine is really funny. I find it exceptionally hilarious, because like, just the idea of him being so like shit scared of garden gnomes is really fun. Like, it's in this like really scary this really scary setting. He just saw 2 buildings like sink into the fucking ground, just disappear. They're gone. He's probably getting like flashbacks to put upon Percy, and then like that doesn't send him running away. No, it's the garden gnomes, baby. Those are what scares him. I know that it's kind of stupid and kind of silly, but to me that is like really funny. That, or I I find Percy's Chocolate Crunch a very funny episode as well. Just where like he's trying to stay clean, he's trying to like keep his paint looking decent, which in any other cartoon or show would be a shitty premise. It would be like the character, like the main character's like, oh, I'm walking along, oh, I gotta get away from the mud or something. No, in this, like, he's just getting like shit after shit after shit, and then it ends with him like smashing into a fucking chocolate factory when being like as dirty as physically possible, which is another really funny moment for me. Thinking about that, that might have actually been easier to green screen into a video just because like of the angle and how close it is and stuff. Let's see, have you ever considered trying out other video editing software like Vegas Pro or iMovie? I used to use iMovie. When I first started doing video editing, iMovie was the one that I used. And I recommend if you are starting with video stuff and you're not sure about it but you want to give it a try, use iMovie. iMovie is a very beginner-friendly program. You won't be able to do as fancy of stuff, but it is very good for basic edits and stuff. And honestly, like if you're even like doing like running a small business with video, I would say just having iMovie is better than having other free programs like the free version of KineMaster. Let's see here. I was just about to ask thoughts on Patreon. I think it's a good platform for people to use. I don't really know the special coach. I don't personally have a Patreon, but yeah, that's not something that I do. I thought about it for a bit last year, but I decided not to. So yeah. Ketali Apollon. Hi, my life has been ruined. Your life has been ruined. What happened? You can't just say that and leave. You've got to hold the phone. Stop the presses here. What's gone wrong here, my guy? Are you doing good? Are you all right? Are you okay? I don't think I'm gonna get a response anytime soon. Well, I hope if something has gone wrong for you, I hope it gets better. Percy is like Patrick Star from SpongeBob. I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, he's kind of oh dear, dude. Okay, stop the joke. Stop everything for a second, dude. I'm sorry about that, man. That's rough. That's a tough time. My parents got divorced as well. Back when I was small, played on pause. It's a rough time. It's gonna be rough for a good while for you. It was rough for me. It was really rough for me. I want to say right now, it might seem like your life is never gonna get better. It does get better. It will hurt for a very long time. It will be weird. It will be a weird adjustment period. But I promise you things do get better. And, I give you my full support because that is something that, you hear about people getting divorced a lot. It sucks for the kid. It sucks for everyone involved. I think that you should know. I think you should talk with your parents about it. But you should know that it's not your fault that they're getting divorced or anything. And that's really all I can say. I know we just suddenly went from like oh, everything's going great to really serious mode. But that is something that like I'm deeply sorry for you, and I really hope things get better. Yeah, I hope that helps, and that's all really I can say. Going on here, Luke, first thing that comes to mind, this is like the funniest moment in Thomas from my boy Luke. Thomas Percy and the Squeak, very fun episode. I like that a lot. I have that on VHS actually. I have it on the Percy's Chocolate Crunch VHS. Easily one of my favorite episodes. I'm gonna like try to like move on from that really sad thing, but I am sorry for you, Kennelin Apollon. Moving on to the video, I hate to just whiplash like that, but Thomas and the Jet Engine. Okay, hold the phone. Thomas and the Jet Engine is overrated. How dare... No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I like it. I think it's a fun episode. But, you know, I feel like that's a thing where, like, someone will be like, oh, I don't really like this thing, it's overrated, or I like this thing because it's underrated, and then people are like, oh, I gotta get my opinion in there. Like, I feel like a lot, like, nowadays, it's important to recognize that just because you like something doesn't mean everyone has to like something, and just because everyone likes something that it works both ways, if that makes sense. Yeah. Thomas and the Jet Engine is a very silly episode. It is wild and wacky, but it's like in the same vein as Rusty and the Boulder, where it's like it's wild, but it doesn't feel like pandering, if that makes sense. Anyways, moving back on to this. So, getting into the 5 boyos who I contacted, like Avengers Endgame style, calling everyone in. Luke, Liam, Sam. Luke and Sam are in the chat right now. NWA Chris, and Carson's Video Workshop. These guys came in clutch for this video. I want to say right off the bat, this was easily, like, the big leg up that this video needed for me. Because, you know, I can redo my own thumbnails and whatever, but I don't think it would have turned out nearly as good as just getting to remake other thumbnails, because obviously everyone has different styles of video making. You know, Chris does fan stories and model stuff. Sam, you do model stuff and fan stories, and also I would say, yeah, essay style videos. Luke does some essay styled stuff, but in a different vein to what I do. I would say not like radically different, but different enough to be like standout-ish. I am glad I was able to bring back the Steamy Awards. Oh, the font choice might not be whatever. Yeah, but they came in absolutely clutch with this, and I really appreciate it. This video, I'm gonna say right now, video would not be as good. It would not be like one of my favorites if it wasn't for them, just because I getting to collaborate with them and getting to make these thumbnails. These thumbnails were made like fairly early in advance. That's how far along this project was. Just like things were far in advance when I started doing this. Like I was working on their stuff and working on this like on the side. So yeah, it's my 16th birthday tomorrow, and I have a bloody GCSE English exam in the morning. Oof, that is yikes. But you know what? Happy birthday, Henry and Oliver fan 311. You know, 16. That's I think you're old enough to drive now. So get in a car and just start going. Dude, Grand Theft Auto 5 style. Just, no, don't do that, please. Don't, like, kill a man. Luke's frickin' thumbnail was, like, the first big roadblock that I had while doing this. I knew what I wanted to do. And Luke, this isn't, like, a point against you. But I knew what I wanted to do for this. I just didn't know how. It was the first one where I scoured through for footage and stuff, and I was like, huh, this is not going well. But you know, I wouldn't say that I have like oh, if I could rank them from like first to last, which is my favorite, which is my least favorite. I think they all turned out really well. Well, you know, if I had to pick a least favorite, I would say I would like to give another shot at Carson's one, just because, I don't know, it didn't turn out as well as I thought it would. I think if I had like a proper model of Percy, and well, Percy was fine. It was freaking, we'll get to that. It was freaking Richard that was just not doing it for me. GTA drivers, Thomas and the Magic Railroad, Diesel 10. Yeah. A little more talking about Unlucky Tug stuff here. That thumbnail that Unlucky Tug made, if I can pause again just for a second, that one, I have no idea what, like, I know what he did. I know he, like, face replaced used boulder and stuff. It could even be, like, a plastic boulder if he didn't use, like, a toy, or, like, the real model. Gosh dang, I want to know what face he used for Thomas there, because, like, moving the eyes and stuff and making it look that clean, it takes a lot of technical stuff that I don't think I would be able to replicate. You know, I like to think that I'm, like, pretty good at Photoshop, but, like, he makes stuff that's just, like, wow. Like, yikes. Sir Handel's face was severely damaged from the fall, so he needed cosmetic surgery and got Rheneas's face. Okay, that's pretty good. Oh my gosh, that's that. There's an alternate take of Bulldog where Falcon rolled down the mountain, and they had to like fix his face up, and they had to like inject him with some Botox, and he got Rheneas's face out of that. Renee, I don't even really hate Sir Handel with Rheneas's face. He looks it kind of makes him look like a baby, if that makes sense. But I don't hate the way it looks. If it was like an actual character, yeah, I think it would be pretty cool. Luke's like, I'm sure that's somewhere in the Island of Sodor history book. Yeah, I mean, we'll get to the Island of Sodor history book at some point. I want to make a video about that because I have things to say about it. It exists. Scrapyard Studios thumbnail, getting back on topic here. Scrapyard Studios, if Luke was like a little bit of a speed bump for trying to figure out what to do, Scrapyard Studios was like if a wall was erected in front of me. And I don't mean that as a bad thing, but like trying to like find the right way to make because sometimes you just like you're working on something and everything's flowing really well, and sometimes it just doesn't. And it's not your fault, Sam. To be fair, my thumbnails have not a lot to go off of. It's not even like your thumbnails aren't bad. I just like it's just one of those things where sometimes you just don't have the inspiration right there, and you just need to like try to like put stuff together and see what works and what doesn't. The Johnny Morris one, I didn't talk about this as much in the video as I would have liked to, just because I want to keep things moving. All I really did mention was putting the Railway series image in the book. It's not the last book that Johnny Morris did, but it's the last book where all the engines are as an ensemble that he did, so that's why I chose that one. I also put a radio in the background. I didn't mention that. I did want to put in a black and white radio. I didn't want to make the whole thumbnail black and white because I still wanted the Railway series stuff to pop. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole backstory behind that. Just using the black and white aesthetic, making things like not super saturated, but just saturated enough. And I do think that having the color and the black and white does pop. You see that in some movies where they'll have like something in color, but the rest of the movie's in black and white. Schindler's List is a very good example of that, where they have like a girl in a red dress, and without spoiling what happens, ouchies. It's a real show-stopping moment. Let me just say that. Moving over to Liam's thumbnail. Oh my gosh, Liam. His was one where Sam's was one where I traded videos a few times. Liam's was one where, I tried really hard to make the Fergus and James one work. I tried really, really hard, and I couldn't figure it out. I'm sure that there is a way. I'm sure I could like cut out the sky and figure out something, but it would have just been like a slightly different version of Liam's original thumbnail. So instead, while working on another project, which I won't talk about too much in detail, but I'll hint it just enough so that people can speculate, we looked at Edward Escapes the Blast and his take on that story, essentially. And this was a major breakthrough for me. I don't think that this thumbnail is like super groundbreaking. I think that it is pretty good. I think I did a pretty good job with it. I mean the one that I made, not Liam's thumbnail. Liam's thumbnail is very good. I like the way that this looks. I know that it's not accurate. Maybe I could have done something a little more accurate where Edward was going away with the explosion. The only reason I didn't do that is because I think having the face is more of a striking thing. So, yeah, that's the reason why I wanted to do that, is just because it, like, the face is more impactful, I want to say. Carson. This guy was literally the final. I'm not joking when I say he was literally the final boss of this entire thing. Because with every other one, I was like, oh, I've got assets I can use. For this one, it's all digital. It's all hand-drawn. Well, hand-drawn, drawn with a mouse, but you get the picture. Yeah, this was tough. This was a very difficult one for me to do. I think this was also... It was either... I don't think it was the last one. I think that Liam's the Miller Stations, was the last one. But then I shuffled it around in the script so this will be the last one just because there was, like, more went into this one, I think. It was more of a process anyway. I didn't notice until after, like, until doing the video that you can see with Percy, if I go back a little bit, if we just rewind space-time a little bit here, you can see with Percy, bring him in, please. Please bring him in. Yeah, you can see with him, his face isn't quite attached to his body. I'm sure that the video is making this look a little bit better, like the stream, with it being crunched down a little bit, is making things look a little better. But if I go back to that zoomed in one for a second, gosh, I wish there was like a set amount of time control on here. So Percy, yeah, you can kind of see there's like a seam here on his smoke box where his face would go, and on his bunker where where it connects to the rest of him. I don't. That is a quirk in the Illustrator engine that makes it so that even though things are touching, they are not overlapping, and it sometimes makes things a little weird. Luckily, when you put it into Photoshop, it doesn't matter. It's very easily like hidden, I guess. I don't know why it's like that, why it's so easily hidden, but I'm not about to complain about that because it meant that I didn't have to go back into Illustrator and fix everything. It wasn't even something that I noticed while making this. It was just after when I noticed, oh, that doesn't look good. The fire for this one was also a pain because I can't just use regular fire. That's the thing. I can't just use like a picture of fire. I wanted to use like drawn fire because it doesn't clash. This fire I don't think looks too bad. I thought it looked better at the time, but you can see it's a little bit wonky in places here. Maybe that works with, you know, fire not being like, it's like wild and untamed. I still think it doesn't look particularly great. I would definitely like a second shot at it. And also, someone mentioned this in the comments, and I realized it while editing. I was like, oh, fudge me. But I couldn't go back and change it. Or, I mean, I guess I could have gone back and changed it, but I didn't want to. It's this bit here in the corner where it says written by DCG12B in Carson's Video Workshop. That is the no-no that I was talking about with this, with the video when I was saying, like, be careful of the timer thing, and then I shit the bed on that. It didn't go frickin' well at all. Well, I shouldn't say it didn't go well, but like I said a thing, I said don't do this, and then I went and did it, which it's not even the only like little goof in this video. If we rewind all the way back, Samsung's skill issue, if we rewind all the way back to Luke's thing, which is here, right here, please, there it is. I misspelled parental, apparently. Fuck. Every video, every single heckin' video, there's always one. There's always one thing. And and you know, it's one thing I love about the YouTube comment section is that if you have an issue, if there's like a spelling mistake or something, instantly someone in the YouTube comments is gonna say something about it. So I mean, I guess the entire video is null and void right there. I guess I'll have to just take the L on that one. Gosh dang it, that was so annoying too, because like I could go back and fix that. I'm not gonna go back and fix that. There's no way. It was just, and it is funny. I do find it funny. But gosh dang it, that is so annoying. Gosh dang it. Good night, Oliver, or Henry and Oliver fan 311. Happy birthday again. Take care and don't let Gordon smash your wall in. Maybe one day I'll get that green screen fixed up. We're looking good. Yeah, so that is basically the thumbnail video done and dusted here. If there's anything else I can say, it's that this last part here wasn't difficult to... Oh, this bit here I want to talk about first. Liam came in clutch again with this. I didn't want to bug the other guys just because I didn't know what was going on. I knew Luke was busy with his his Calling All Engines video, which you should totally go and watch, by the way, because it is very good. And he does something very cool in it that I won't spoil, but you've probably already seen it, so I don't know why I'm bothering to not spoil it. This section here with all the moving stuff, there was a big gap, like, in this video that... Well, there were two big gaps. This gap here was easier to put together just because I had video to do, or video to put to it. There's a big gap right in the middle here. I'd say from where the Curtis Connor segment ends up until we start making the thumbnails, which was about 5 minutes, was just empty. And because I break it up into scenes, right? And so I didn't know what to do for this section. Like this is scene 2 essentially that we're watching. And so I didn't know what to do. So I was like, well, we'll just do the other stuff since it's easier. And I got all that stuff done. I was like, wow, this video's going really fast. And then I realized, oh, I still have this scene 2 that I still have to do. And scene 2 is massive. It was 5 minutes of just like stuff of information. And it was like, what do I do here? And somehow over the course of like 3 days where I was off from work, I somehow managed to put it together. And it was crazy to me because that never happens when I make a video. I never have a time where I make that much progress in such a short amount of time. Unless like I have a deadline that I need to do. So yeah, that's the thumbnail video, all done now, for real. If anyone has any other questions about the production of the video, or just about thumbnails in general, I would love to hear them. I am just going to run to the washroom real quick. I'll be right back. Someone's saying, I like the funny choo-choo. Hey, join the club, man. I saw someone in here say, where was it? Someone mentioned VHS tape somewhere. Luke saying, play, don't pause, do it, don't. Yeah, that was basically what happened there. Someone mentioned a VHS tape thing, and I can't find it now. Darn it, because I wanted to talk about that. Because I've been talking about, behind the scenes, doing a VHS tape sort of video. I don't know if I'm going to do it like right this second. There are 3 other videos that I want to do. There's 2 Analyzation Expresses and the cookie video, the elusive cookie video, which I think is probably going to be the next thing I make, probably alongside another Analyzation Express, just working between them. Yeah, I have, and this isn't like, I want to say right now, this isn't me like piggybacking off of Unlucky Tug making his VHS tape video, which I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen his home media video yet. But yeah, because I got like Disney stuff, which I probably can't show for legal reasons. Pokemon, which I probably can't show for legal reasons. Maybe I can get away with a few clips. And then a bunch of Thomas stuff, which I would like to talk about as well, because there are. I just want to talk about VHS tapes. I think they're neat. Are you going to talk about other stuff other than the funny choo-choo? Okay, let's talk about this for a second, because this is actually something that I've been playing around with for a little bit that I'm not sure if I want to do. Gotta copyright them all. I'm not sure if I want to do this right now. It probably won't be right now, but one I guess series of videos that I'd like to do is that isn't Thomas related. Is I want to go through the entirety of Pokemon. We'll start with this one. I want to go through the entirety of Pokemon, and I want to do an entire retrospective of each generation. So that would be all the games that both I've personally played and that were released the media that is surrounding that. So the Pokemon cards. This Pokemon cards would be Pokemon cards that I own. Yeah, the entire series. Going through Pokemon cards, going through, because I have some figures that I want to like talk about a little bit. And also doing a big review of the anime, which is a lot, I know. That would be like 4 giant blocks of stuff all in one video. I want to do that for every generation between Gen 1 to Gen 9. I don't think Gen 9 would... Well, I mean, don't expect this for a while, but don't expect Gen 9 for a while, because I feel like Gen 9 has a lot of stuff going on that isn't, like, ready to be explored yet. How do I put that? Gen 9 isn't finished, is what I'm going to say. Not by a long shot. I feel like there's going to be side games, there's going to be spin-offs, there's going to be tons of other stuff. Because I really want to talk about Pokemon. I love Pokemon a lot. It was, besides Thomas, it was like the other big thing that I had growing up as a kid. I really, and I've been watching, the other thing is, I've been watching the anime a lot with a friend of mine who's been showing me, because I watched from, not the start of the series, but I was aware of the start of the series, and I have like some of the original on VHS, up to the end of Black and White, or up to the end of the tournament of Black and White. Because after that tournament episode ended in Black and White Best Wishes, I stopped watching. I was furious. I don't want to say why, because if you haven't seen it, I recommend go watching it. But I gave up on the show for a long time. And it wasn't until last year where I came back to see where things picked up with Gen 6. And then watching Gen 6, without spoiling anything, I mean, spoiling it for a show that ended in like 2016, 2017, it was easily, I wish that I would have stuck around. Because, oh my gosh, that, it was incredible. And I'd always considered Pokemon to be something up until that, like, because when I started getting into storytelling and stuff, and just like writing and stuff, I didn't consider Pokemon to be that deep. I didn't remember it being that deep. I remembered liking it, except for the stuff that made me stop wanting to watch it. I remembered liking it. I remember thinking it was cool. But I also remembered that there are a lot of stuff in there that you don't do, or you want to avoid doing in writing. And I stopped. Like, I didn't think that it was like something that could not, I wouldn't say not be good, but I didn't think that it was something that was like my speed anymore. And going back to watch Gen 6, I was dead wrong. There was so much that I had forgotten. There were so many moments that over the series that I was reminded of from watching it, and things that like it was done in that show that I was like, oh, that was like a thing that was done in this one that I really liked. And there were all these bits that like came together into something that was like, no, this is a good show. You know, it's not like something like One Piece, but I couldn't give a shit about One Piece, man. I thought it was like, I tried watching One Piece. Oh my gosh, I couldn't watch One Piece. It was just like, it's so fucking long and not boring, but it just, Pokemon is like, it's a lot more snappier. And it's just more, I'd say it's more accessible for casual viewers, and it's something that, like, if you like Pokemon, the Pokemon anime has significantly more good in it than bad. I think it is a very good way to market the games, and the games are a very good way to make you want to watch the show. Yeah, and then we watched Gen 8, which wasn't as good, but it was still very good. I still enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, Pokemon is something that I would like to talk about at some point. And I want to do each generation as its own separate video, but don't expect that for a long time. People are saying they're going to go to sleep, so yeah, I think I'm going to probably clock out now. Boo Boo Choo Choo or Monsters Anywhere? Boo Boo Choo Choo, man. Monsters everywhere. What? No. I haven't seen Tale of the Brave, so I wouldn't know. But I like the Boo Boo Choo Choo, as stupid as of a name as that is. Yeah. So I'm gonna call it here, I think. Thank you for coming down to the stream. Thank you for listening to me talk about videos and stuff. I hope this was insightful. I hope that you had a good time. I hope everyone's doing great. E from Special Coach. A T eat. Yeah, that's a good note to end things on. I'll see you next time.